world's leading monohull racing circuit is back in Puerto Portals in Mallorca. Teams are all set to do battle on the Bay of Palma.
Oh, it's a penalty!
The boats are fully powered up. The whole crew, they're in the back of the boat. I absolutely love it.
Who would have thought a big win for the Finns?
Oh, so close!
Great racing, sled catching, American magic.
They are neck and neck.
Everything is possible until you cross that finish line.
Fantastic racing.
What a thrilling race. Oh my God.
Welcome back to Sunshine Island off Mallorca and to Puerto Portals, the final day of the Puerto Portals 52 Super Series Sailing Week. It's been a great regatta so far. We're bang on schedule. We've got 2 races to sail today. American Magic Quantum Racing at the top of the table. They've got a really comfortable lead, looking to go 3 regatta wins in a row. Behind 4 teams within 4 points of each other, pitching for the other 2 places on the podium. We've got Sled, Alegre, Alcedo, Alpha Plus and the Brazilian team on Criolla. So it's going to be a fantastic, I'm not allowed to say Saturday showdown, but a great finale in prospect. Now then, we caught up with Jean-Luc Petithuguenin, the enigmatic owner, super supportive of world sailing, or French sailing in particular, Jean-Luc Petithuguenin, and this is Jean-Luc. So Jean-Luc, how are you?
I'm fine, I'm very fine. I'm happy to be there. And I'm happy to be on this boat. I like so much the TP52. It's a fantastic boat.
What about the season so far? How's it been? There's been a real upturn, big improvements for the Paprec team.
Yes, you know, you have to understand that we start from nothing. I start this Paprec team 30 years ago. Can you imagine? Exactly 27 years ago. With Stéphane Neve, and we have the same team. The first aim we have is to be the first boat in Brittany, in the French Brittany, not okay. And at the end, we win 10 times the title of being the first boat in Brittany. Then we decide to upgrade and to go to TP52. During this period, I like only one boat, my small Synergia. We win all the competition with this small Synergia. And then we discover TP52. It was such a fantastic boat. It's something incredible. And the fleet, you know, there. So many people, so strong, with they are all champion, world champion. They come from the America Cup. It's really, it was fantastic for us to have the right to try to fight these people. So every year we improve our level, and we ask Loïc Perron to come, and all the boat now is very strong, and we are supposed to be this champion, you know, in Cascais, and we know that we fight in the 5 best boats now, so that's something. But Magic, to speak frankly, Magic is over the top.
They're magic.
Oh, they are Magic.
Anyway, tell me, what's changed this year? What have you improved to get to the level you're at?
More training. And also we have only the wardrobe is entirely new each year in the yes, as a sales, and training years after years. I think it's the key of the success.
And what do you get from it? What do you enjoy about it most?
The atmosphere on our boat, it's friends. It's not. I don't pay. You know, we have half professional and half amateur on the boat, and we have such a strong.
It's like a family.
Yes, it's a real family, and we like to sail together. And even if we can't sail, you remember when we were in near Napoli. We make.
Oh yeah, no, I remember that in Naples.
Yes,
You just went and sailed for fun, just
for fun. For fun. It's a pleasure to be on boat on the water.
and that spirit is still the same. The atmosphere is still the same, even though you're at the very top level.
That's my key role. I am in charge of the atmosphere of the boat. And the choose of the wine and the choose of the food.
But I was hearing that the guys don't like champagne.
Yes, but we have to wait to be able to have the container of champagne, you know.
But tell me, I mean, go back to Cascais. That was incredible for your team, wasn't it?
Yes, also in Cascais it was easier for us because in the strong wind it seems that we are a very strong team. Huh? We are used to strong wind in Brittany.
You always have rain in Brittany.
Yeah. And the boat, we know perfectly how we can run fast in the strong wind. So in Cascais, it was a good period for us. In small wind, for example, the Magic, they are better than we are. They know exactly where to find the small difference to be fast in the small wind.
But you came to Cascais and you were worried you might bring bad luck.
No, I don't think so. So you have to wait today. Maybe we finish 5 or I don't know. It depends. We are able to. It depends on the weather also. If you have more than 10 knots, our boat above 10 knots is difficult to beat. Less than 10 knots, okay.
A few words about Loic. What does he bring to the programme? He's got such energy at 65.
Yes. You know, Loic, he was on, you know that Paprec, we have several boats. We have a professional boat, IMOCA, and we also have other boats. But Loic, he was he wins some race with Jean-Pierre Dick.
Yeah.
And
The Barcelona World Race.
Frankly spoken, he's a magic person. He has this great feeling about the sail. Everyone knows him, and he's so easy in the life. It's fantastic. So I asked him. We have very good connection, Loic and I, and so I asked him to come on the boat, and. You know, on this TP52, we are so close. It's always the fault of the tactician. But when the tactician is called Loic Perron, okay, nobody can discuss on the boat, and you can't have any talk about that.
Exactly. Yeah. Now listen, you're in this battle for third place overall now with Alcedo. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, we will do our best to remain third, and okay, Alcedo, they are on this competition they are a little above us, but we will see next competition, and there is a gap of 8 or 9 points. So probably, maybe we can stay on the third, on the podium.
How often do you look at the leaderboard? Every day? Every hour?
Yes, twice a day. After each regatta, I try to know.
Anyway, and tell me, what would it mean to you to finish third?
This means something very important. You know, this team was built for the last 25 years, and it's the best level in the world. All these guys, incredible guy. You speak. This is Terry Hutchinson. This is. It's something. You know. It's if I make an explanation for Formula One, you have. You have the right to meet with Verstappen or Leclerc. How can it be possible to have the right to be so close to these people? And for us, it's really something. And again, I like this boat. I like TP52. It's a fantastic boat, and I like the series. This series. Super series, it's something incredible. The level is so high. It's such a pleasure, and all the owners they know the other owners, so it's something. For example, Alcedo, I didn't know there before, and today my wife, she is on their boat.
Fantastic. And that's your main rival, Andrea Lacorte.
Yes. No.
And that's special. That's special, isn't it?
Yes, and they just come, so they are so strong. I'm happy, frankly speaking, I'm happy for them.
Good. And tell me about your support in the rest of sailing, world sailing and global sailing. You've got your Imocas, you're still doing the solitaire, you do the
Yes, we have.
Why?
I like very much sailing. When I was very young, I started at something like 10 or 12 on the water, and but it's something very important for me. The sea is important for the life of the earth. And you know, we are supposed to be an ecological company, and we take care about our future. And of course, sea is very important for our future. So that's the first reason for. Also because I like the sea, I like the wind, and you have to realize that you have to be humble to be on the sea. If the wind and if the sea has decided to be the strongest, be clear, you are out of the game. So you have to be humble on the sea, and I like this.
Have a great day. Thanks, Jean-Luc.
Thank you. It was a pleasure.
So they finished fourth before the World Championships last year, but Alpha Plus are absolutely in the mix, challenging for their first podium place ever. We caught up with navigator Ian Moore, who's cool, calm and collected under pressure, and even after a controversial penalty, which lost him 7 points yesterday. Anyway, Ian, a big day for the Alpha Plus. You're close to the podium. Team have never finished on the podium. Closest has been fourth, I think, in the world. Is that right? So a big day for you guys.
No, it's exciting. Everybody's excited about it, but we are just treating it like, any other day. Just try and we, made a big improvement this week, and it's, getting some good results, and we just want to carry on that arc and not think too much about the result and just concentrate on the day.
Controversial penalty for you yesterday. Without digging it all back up again, how did that affect the team, and how do you come back into the racing today? Yeah,
it was really tough. We were in 5th place across the finish line, get a penalty, suddenly we're 12th, and personally I was really down about it. But Ado was really steady, and he said, "We're out of our heads. Next race, concentrate, refocus," and that's what we did. And we, got a great start and converted that into second place. So that was like a team effort. He did a really good job of refocusing the team and dragging us along with him, because that was a tough thing to have to go through.
What's the objectives then today in terms of what you have to do?
Well, it's a big ask to get to the very top, but obviously it'd be great to finish on the podium. Sledder right there. There's a lot of guys right behind us as well. So we can't, there's so many boats in the mix with 2 races. I think you just have to go out there and have 2 great races and see where the dice fall.
Here's hoping.
Thanks very much. Yeah.
Cheers, well done, thank you.
Cheers.
And we caught up with the first female navigator ever to win the TP52 World Championship as a navigator, Sarah Stone. Sarah, how's the final day looking in terms of weather?
It looks like it should be a pretty thermally driven day, so it's plenty hot already this morning, and so hopefully that'll bring the breeze up into the 10, 11, 12 knot range, and we'll have some good races.
You want to wait for more breeze, or you just want to get going?
I think we kind of know the amount of breeze we're going to get, so happy to just get out there, and as soon as the breeze fills, get going.
What's the mood in the camp this morning? Are there any nerves, or is it just a case of going out and doing the jobs?
It's just another day. We're still playing for the whole season, so it's just the next day in the process.
What's been the key to your reasonably sizable margin?
I think it's making sure that we're boat handling well, we're keeping the process by which we make decisions the same regardless of where we are in the pack, taking low-risk moves, trying not to sort of involve umpires in their situations, so that means sometimes taking sterns when you'd rather sort of stick it in and hope for the best. So that all helps for sure, and then you just got to keep playing the game. It's been really shifty and tricky out there, so a little bit of luck also goes a long way.
Are you superstitious in terms of luck?
No, no, but for sure, any luck helps.
So 3 races yesterday. Let's look back at the highlights. Welcome back to Puerto Portals. A good day of racing in prospect. We're sure we've got a forecast which is much more typical for the Bay of Palma, sea breeze. Consequently, we're trying to get 3 races away. 3 different winners yesterday. American Magic Quantum Racing at the top of the table, but as ever, it's about the pursuit of perfection. Race 6, 12 to 13 knots from 210. A great start from Platoon Aviation just when it was needed. Get off the line in great shape. Round the top mark, it's Sled leading, Allegra second, Platoon Aviation in third. Down the run then, Platoon Aviation stayed a little bit further to the right, and it is the German boat which leads through the leeward gate all the way to the finish. It's a great win for Platoon Aviation after a difficult day yesterday. Allegra gets second, a great reward for their technical team who worked into the small hours of the morning to have the boat ready. And in third place, Sled. So race number 7, much the same kind of conditions. Alcedo go off the pin end of the line. American Magic also left up the top mark. Round the top mark, it's Alcedo leading with American Magic in second. American Magic gain on the run to lead through the leeward gate with Alcedo through in second, Sled in third. American Magic get a nice comfortable win for them, but it's really close between Pravezza and Alcedo coming down the final run. They're head to head, but Pravezza just squeezed clear to get second. Alcedo get third, but American Magic extend their lead at the top of the table. Race number 8 of a long 3-race day, and off the start line will Criolla come away from the pin end of the line, go to the left. At the top mark, it's Criolla leading with Alpha Plus second. American Magic go round in third. That's the order, though. Through the leeward gate, Alpha Plus go to the right hand mark. American Magic go to the left, and American Magic make a small gain going up the second beat. So round the top mark is American Magic leading with Alpha Plus second, Criolla in third. And through the finish line, a win for American Magic. Alpha Plus gets second, but Platoon Aviation just past Criolla coming down the final run to take third place. So after 8 races at the Puerto Portals 52 Super Series Sailing Week, it's American Magic winning 3 from 4 starts to lead on 27 points. Second are Sled on 45. Alpha Plus in third are tied on 45 points as well. In fourth, Allegra 46. 47 for Alcedo Vitamina, 49 for Criolla. So a big super showdown Saturday for the podium. American Magic obviously leading, but it's going to be a great finale. And it is going to be a great finale. I'm quite sure we have sea breeze conditions coming in as of about an hour ago or so, and its stage really is set for this big showdown, particularly for the second and third podium places. You would imagine American Magic with that buffer, 18 points, so probably the biggest margin we've seen for quite a long time on a regatta circuit, which has been won by a single point here and there. But beyond that, there's just those 4 points between Sled and Criolla. Sled 45, Alpha Plus 45, Allegra 46, Alcedo Vitamina on 47, and Criolla on 49. Not out of the possibilities that Pravezza could make the podium, nor indeed Paprec. Everything to play for. Katie, it's all down to these 2 races. What's your perspective? What are you seeing? American Magic will go low risk, I'm sure, but beyond that, everybody's going to sail their own race, aren't they, really?
Yeah, as you say, American Magic kind of just kind of need to keep clear, and they've got a really nice buffer here, so I think they can, as long as they kind of keep clear and don't have any kind of major disasters, I think they should be pretty comfortable. But it's all to play for anyone, I think from 9th, 10th, all of them could theoretically still podium. So yeah, there's heaps of points, heaps of opportunities out here. It's just, I guess, which boats are going to want to interact with each other. Are the Sled and Alpha Plus, are they going to be battling it out between each other, or are they going to opt for kind of staying more separate, racing their own races? It'd be really interesting to see how those strategies and how those little battles play out.
Indeed, we're just into the final minute pre-start. Some jousting going on at the right-hand end of that little group. Pravezza setting up for time and distance on the pin. Sled at the committee boat end of the line, along with Criolla, Teasing Machine and Platoon. It's all down to the start in so many respects. Katie, what are you seeing?
Yeah, for sure. There's a lot less of a kind of group up at that boat end. I think if thermal, sea breeze, Palmer day, left-hand side is going to be pretty strong. So I think it's going to be really important to get off the line clear, have a good space, good acceleration off the line, and then a bit of a speed race to be able to make that first decision and choose when you tack back across the course.
Vayu are the team that are most bow forward just now. Gladiator going slightly lower risk, pulling the bow down now. We've got 5 or 6 seconds to go, and we're ready to rumble. Provezza make a great start at the pin end of the line. Paprec also get off the line nicely. So do Alcedo. American Magic just a little bit back, just to windward off Alpha Plus there. Alpha Plus slowing American Magic momentarily. Good start, Katie, from Provezza, heading off with intent.
Yeah, a really good start from Provezza. They kind of gave themselves a bit of a gap down to the pin so that they could bear away, build speed a little bit early, so that they had a really good acceleration off the line, which has allowed them to kind of punch forward a bit and given themselves plenty of space.
No panic, I'm sure, for American Magic. Didn't get the best start they wanted. Just slowed a little bit by Alpha Plus, but taking a couple of sterns to get out into clear air. As Sarah Stone said, don't get involved with the umpires, stay low risk, and just let the boat do the job. Try and get some open lanes. Platoon Aviation looking decent in terms of position and speed off the line. However, I'm quite liking the look of Alcedo just now. Just bow forward on Gladiator, and the boats above them with some pace, Katie, don't they, the Italians?
Yeah, they had a really nice start. They had a nice gap to leeward of them. Paprec, yeah, a bit of a gap off Paprec, so that they were able to accelerate into and had really good speed off the line, and now they've made their lives pretty easy for this speed run up. It's just about maximising that speed and seeing if they can get forward on Paprec and Provezza, who are underneath them, and on the rest of the fleet above them, to be able to hopefully tack back and maybe cross the fleet. But yeah, they're looking really strong and really quick at the moment.
Just focus momentarily on Alpha Plus then. They really tried to slow American Magic, or certainly stop American Magic sailing over them at the start. Now that maybe has cost them just a little bit, but that's the price you kind of have to pay to get off the line with reasonably clear breeze. They've got a boat just above them and behind, but this is a bit of a speed test for them. But in the meantime, Katie, was getting some criticism from New Zealand, from the sled fans, who were saying that they weren't getting enough love yesterday, not enough recognition because they were so far under the radar. But they are going great guns out to the right and leading for us at the moment. Now I have intelligence from the sled.
Yeah, looking nice again on that right-hand side.
Yeah, they're going well, and I gather that Mr. Akura has returned home, and I think Adam Bishop's driving. We'll check that when we get a closer view, but they're certainly going well just now.
Yeah, I think they started at that boat end. They were the most boat end boat, so they clearly had a plan to go out towards that right-hand side. They like the look of it, and I think if the rest of the fleet is heading out, or if a lot of the fleet's heading out left, they maybe didn't want to engage in that kind of fight for the middle of the line. They were happier to be at the boat, but they've got a really nice lane out to that right-hand side and just maximising the speed. And yeah, as you say, like, they're kind of one of those boats that's quite often under the radar but is always there, and I think it's just because they're kind of always doing
the simple things well,
and they're always kind of just chipping away, and and they're not getting themselves into trouble. So they're one of those boats that is often under the radar, but they're always well in it.
We're always watching them though, just for the sled team fans, and they're turning on the Magic just now, just when they need it. I think Don Cowie was telling me they would, if they can get this one, they would have finished on the podium 3 out of 4 regattas so far. American Magic tacking back on starboard, forcing Allegra to tack. So everything to play for in terms of the podium. Alcedo finished on the podium in Bayona. And really sail with a huge amount of confidence and passion, led by Andrea Lacorte. On board with American Magic, watching Platoon Aviation coming up to cross. So Platoon Aviation going back, Katie, maybe in a little lefty, a little bit of a lift for them. Maybe it's just pressure. It was interesting talking to Don Cowie, just saying how streaky the breeze is. You know, remember we were talking about that high mode that we felt American Magic had. I think that's true to a point, but Don was just saying it was so streaky. You could just be in a vein of pressure, which allows you to sail that little bit higher.
Yeah, when the breeze is a little bit lighter, kind of probably 10 knots and below it, those little bursts of pressure make such a difference to your speed and your angle. And when we get some of the wider out drone shots, you can really kind of see down the course, you can see those little streaks and you can see what boats are in them. And yeah, it does make such a difference to the angle that you can sail and the speed. And it makes a difference between getting that cross or having to do that duck and just making it in front of a bunch. It makes all the difference to be able to get into those little puffs.
And it's never really easy. I'm not complaining about our job, Katie, but it's never easy to get the real perspective on these aerial shots on a wide or a wider angle lens. But it looked there like a little bit of a split breeze. Boats on this left side starting to lift as you would expect on the Bay of Palma, but also the boats on the right side lifting a little bit on starboard. But 'twas ever thus. In fact, now we really have three groups of boats, don't we? Have Value and Sled out on that right side, 5 boats on this left side, and however many 5 boats in the middle. Struggling for my arithmetic there, Katie. You're supposed to be helping me. But American Magic just now in
Yeah,
ninth.
I think if I was in any of these bunches, yeah, I was just going to say, like, in whatever bunch you're in, it's so important to kind of make sure that you're winning that bunch. Quite often you commit to a side, and sometimes or quite often it doesn't necessarily matter which side you are, but as long as you're winning that side, you're still kind of up there and giving yourself the best opportunity. So if I was out on the left-hand side, yeah, I'd be kind of Provezza, I'd be wanting to win that bunch, I'd be wanting to win the middle bunch. Yeah, it's important to kind of be in front of the bunch that you're in.
So let's see how things develop then. Criolla they went off that pin. Provezza furthest left boat now with Paprec Alpha Plus. I kind of feel, Katie, that Alpha Plus kind of unsettled themselves getting engaged with American Magic coming off the line just a little bit. They say they had to protect their lane, such as it was at the time, but kind of put themselves on the back foot compared with teams that were going time on distance looking for space. However, loads of racing still to go. Credit so far to Value and Sled. American Magic, though, of course, the past masters at chipping away, turning a result in the second half of the fleet into result in the top half of the fleet. Not looking so sunny this morning, Katie, or this afternoon. Or maybe it is. Depends on
There's a bit of kind of haze about. It is still super hot out here, though. It's kind of, I think, hotter than a couple of the previous days. It feels a bit muggier, but there is a little bit of a haze around. But I think with this heat, I think the thermal should is forecast to potentially build a couple of knots, so hopefully we'll get that through. But it's slightly less intense sun, but it is still very hot out here.
What was your forecast for the day then?
So I had basically a thermal breeze coming in, or a sea breeze, increasing a couple of knots throughout the day, maybe seeing up to around kind of 12 knots, starting at around 195, 200, so kind of south-southwest, and then potentially as it increases and it gets more established, potentially moving, going to the right around 10 degrees, ending up, or 10, 20 degrees, or ending up at around kind of 210, 220. But generally a pretty stable day. I don't think there'll be anything that happens too quickly. It's just one of those hopefully gradually building, gradually moving slightly right days, but I don't think that should impact too much what we see during race to race.
So this little group, for all of them, it's about trying to keep clear air, work a solid open lane as much as possible, but it's kind of move and counter move. Great to see Paprec right up alongside Alcedo. That was a fantastic interview with Jean-Luc Petithuguenin, wasn't it? He just opens up and he just saying great rivalry and friendship between owners, rivalry on the water, these two blue boats, Italians and the French, head to head, challenging for third step on the Super Series 2025 podium. Jean-Luc saying that his partner is on board the motor yacht off Andrea Lacorte watching the race. But Sled, Katie, a team that wants to get ahead and build a small margin. As much as any team we see, they're very, very capable of turning a small margin into a big margin, but they're able to do what they want in terms of picking the best lane, best pressure just now, even with 120 metres of a lead, 2/3 of the way up the beat is quite impressive, Katie, isn't it?
Yeah, they've done a really nice job on this upwind. Actually, they kind of made the start kind of easy for them. Well, not easy for themselves, but they did a really nice job on the start. Executed their plan, went out to that right hand side, and then really picked the time to come back. They didn't go too punchy going all the way out to that right hand side, which I think was a really good call, because you don't necessarily want to get stuck completely to one side and leave yourself with no options. But they've managed to tack back, cross the fleet, and now we're in a really strong controlling position heading back out towards that ley line. So yeah, I literally cannot fault their upwind tactics at the moment. It's really good watching.
It is in the meantime American Magic in between 8th and 10th, shall we say, at the moment. But the one thing for them, Katie, life is not going to be easy. We always talk about them chipping away, taking a place here and a place there. They've got Alegre, Alcedo, Gladiator round about them. No quarter given at all, and it's going to be tough for them, but they are gaining a place here and there. The right side may be coming good for them. We'll wait and see. Platoon Aviation, Vasco Vascotto then, and Jordi Calafat working the left side. Paid a penalty yesterday for coming in on port, and in fact a double penalty for getting in trouble coming in late on port, trying to get into the lineup. So let's see how this works out for them. I think maybe the fleet is a little bit more spread, but we'll see. Clearly some veins of pressure there. Breezes up and down very slightly. How do you view the final approach to the windward mark, Katie?
Yeah, I think it's looking pretty good to me. It's looking, I mean, Sled's just tacked onto the ley line now, made it nice and easy for themselves. You've got Vayu actually coming in really strong from this top left-hand side. These top left-hand side boats are, to me, looking like they're going to be quite strong coming in on this ley line. And I think if they can make the ley lines kind of easy for themselves, not give themselves too much to do to get around this mark, I think, yeah, Vayu and Platoon could be kind of at the front of the pack as well.
Yeah, seeing just a little bit more spread than
looking really
we've
good
seen coming in the packs, as it were. But American Magic, they're just going behind the teasing machine. So first around the top mark is Sled. Second, Vayu. Third will be Platoon Aviation. Fourth, likely to be Teasing Machine, which would be great to see. They've had a pretty torrid regatta so far, but very much in the mix. Maybe ending up a little bit low on ley line, but it's going to be all about getting the power now, managing to accelerate before American Magic roll over them. Alcedo in the vacuum between these two boats. It's going to be tough for them as well. It's all on the helmsman, but Teasing Machine getting there. Along with American Magic. So American Magic we saw them ninth on that upwind, but wriggling through the few places. Alcedo round with the Paprec. Then Allegro. Alpha Plus in trouble there, Katie, on the mark, just having to shoot and try and get round it. They're going to end up coming round in 10th. Criolla and Provezza. Alpha Plus there getting themselves into problems, Katie, on the mark.
Yeah, that windward mark is always such a tricky one to manage when you've got a bunch and you're coming in. It's kind of like, do you duck below and then try and kind of hopefully get them round the mark or on the spreader, or do you tack underneath and hope that you've got enough space, but knowing that you'll be a bit slower? It's a really hard point to manage. It's a massive pinch point on these courses. And unfortunately for Alpha Plus on that one, they just was slightly too much underlay, so they couldn't quite shoot the mark effectively, which meant that they ended up getting a bit rolled. But yeah, as I said, it's really kind of tricky, kind of quick decision making you have to make at that point, whether you tack underneath or whether you duck, or it's super snappy decision making from the team there.
It is really, and the problem is obviously as soon as you get starved of breeze, and that's always moving, it's always evolving as boats go forward on you, the weather and so on. Suddenly you get yourselves into a lot of problems. But credit to Alpha Plus, it did get round the mark, but it really cost them distance on the boats in front. So projected points just now, if position stayed the same through the finish line, it would be American Magic 32-46 for Sled. Alcedo Vitamina stepping clear into third place, swapping with Allegra and Alpha Plus. It's so close. Vayu getting themselves up to 6th in this race, or 6th overall. Then Paprec, Criolla dropping just now, but positions changing all the time on the water, and indeed then correspondingly on the leaderboard. On board with Alcedo with Andrea Lacotta on the helm there. You can hear the voice of Cameron Appleton there, just calling the breeze in, keeping his eyes open to see what's happening inside them. At the moment they have all the main podium contenders other than the race leaders Sled behind them, and really that's all they can hope to do. Teasing Machine then jibing off just now. Platoon have gone, Sled have gone. Value electing to carry on just a little bit. How's the breeze looking down this run, Katie? What's your thoughts?
Yeah, it's looking quite nice actually. I think, I think I'd probably be wanting to not maybe go out right to the corners on this race course. I don't think those corners have proved to be really powerful, which is what we saw in that first upwind with Sled not quite going to completely to a corner. Whereas you look at Provezza, who went pretty hard out to the left-hand side, so that didn't seem to work upwind. So I think I quite like what Sled, Platoon and Teasing Machine have done, kind of leading the fleet back in towards the centre of the course, to where I suspect there is a little bit more breeze.
I think you're right, Sled just a little bit down speed momentarily through that jibe, or after that jibe. Platoon Aviation, they're in third. So Platoon Aviation, Katie, looking a little bit more like the team we know and love.
Yeah, they've definitely kind of making a bit of a comeback, definitely bouncing back strong, getting to grips with the boat, kind of not letting the start of the week impact the rest of the week. Yeah, really kind of shows a really strong team to be able to come back from such a tricky start and still kind of be punching or like be at the front of the fleet.
Indeed, it's, as you said yourself, it's so important to finish the regatta on a high note of some description. They are watching a team which finished on level points at this regatta last year on the Bay of Palma. Clinched the 2023 overall title here on a dramatic final regatta, and he finished the season locked on the same points. The season title went on tiebreak. They won on tiebreak ahead of Provezza. So Sled out on this left side, the Value working hard, Manu Weiler and Nick Rogers there, bow number 27 going back on port. Platoon Aviation looking quite quick there. But
you can see the boat's doing quite a lot of jibes on this downwind, and I think they're just really trying to stay in the pressure. You can see on the tracking, if you kind of watch the speed differences, you can really tell when a boat kind of gets into a bit of pressure or when they don't. And I think all the jibes that they're doing are purely to stay in those bands of pressure.
Just watching that jibe of Platoon Aviation, really textbook. Getting the sail across early and filling, so you're jibing round the sail, which ideally is max power all the time. But in fact, Katie, there's a bit of a gap between Platoon Aviation. The top three are running away with this just now, almost 200 metres between the Platoon and Teasing Machine.
Yeah, and I think that gap has actually come because the top three boats, Platoon, Sled and Value, have all kind of been jibing down this run to stay in the pressure, whereas Teasing Machine have stayed a little bit more out to the side, and I think that's where that gap's opening up, especially from Platoon and Sled kind of doing more jibes. I think that's what's making the difference on this downwind to me.
Like 49er racing.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, if I was a crew right now, I'd probably be pretty hot and pretty out of breath from all of these drives.
But it is interesting, great shots from the air. You really see the pressure travelling down the course. And on each and every boat you have one or two people who call the breeze as it comes onto the boat. The strategist generally is looking the big picture. They're overhead with platoon. You see Vasco at the back of the boat on the starboard side. Jordi Calafat on the port side with a white hat. It's interesting, Katie, that Vasco always seems to like working at the very, very back of the boat, getting a perspective, a clear perspective on the race course, forward ahead of him and behind. Really seems to like to feel where the boats are relative to him.
Yeah,
Always
I think he'll just be there, like kind of trying to paint a picture almost of what's going on around him, where all the other boats are, where the breeze is. He'll just be there, just scanning the whole time, pretty much.
Certainly working for them just now. They're closed up, I think, a little bit closer to Sled. Easing machine have gone out to that left, coming downwind. The gap with the three leading boats is closed a little bit now as they approach the leeward mark. Easing machine coming in from the left, actually, with a nice angle and speed. Platoon aviation and trying to get on Sled's breeze as they come into this leeward mark. First time down, race number 9 off 10. Penultimate race here at the Porto Portals 52 Super Series Sailing Week. Now then, it's going to be close at this mark. I think Sled will still be okay. Value coming in from that left side. I think in the end, Katie, that Sled and Platoon Aviation have got a faster angle to the left-hand mark. Value probably sailing a slightly shorter distance to the right-hand mark, but not got the speed or the angle. However, let's wait and see. Value certainly dropping first. Value going to the right-hand mark. So Value round the right-hand mark first. Then Sled on the left-hand mark. Nothing in it between Sled and Platoon Aviation.
Really nice drop from Sled there. They left the kite up a little bit later. They left themselves a bit of work to do, but I think that helped them really extend around the mark from Platoon.
Interesting then, Platoon Aviation electing to tack at the mark. Now that makes it a little bit difficult for them. I think they're just
through the fleet as well.
Yeah, I mean it's difficult on port with the starboard tackers coming down. Under spinnaker. That's a bold move, Katie, isn't it?
That's a really bold move because they're going to be going pretty slow for, well, the whole time up until about now when they're clear. They will have been going slow, so that's potentially, yeah, a loss to them, but clearly they want to be on the right-hand side of Valle, who's gone out Sled, who's gone out slightly further left.
American Magic then round in 5th. Patrick 6th. Triola, Allegre, Alcedo dropping, Prevezza, Alpha Plus and Gladiator. Alpha Plus really slowed on that mark, getting round inside Gladiator. So all of the main podium contenders other than Sled in the second half of the fleet. It's all very well, Katie, with the team saying they're going to go out and sail their own race, but you find yourself beside one of your main rivals for the podium, and it's almost inevitable you start focusing on that rival. But there we go, that's worked for Platoon Aviation. Clearly Vasco and Jordi saw the left-hander coming. Sled were keen on that. And Platoon Aviation have got themselves up to second. And way out on that right side are Teasing Machine. American Magic, the regatta leaders, the circuit leaders, just keeping themselves clear in a sail in max pressure. And I think at the moment, Katie, as much as anything for Terry Hutchison and the World Championship winning team, it's about just staying out of trouble, letting the boat do the work. And just
one of my
consolidating.
Favourite things actually from the interview you did with. One of my favourite things about the interview you did with Sarah Stone was kind of her attitude towards. She said that they keep the process the same in the decision making, regardless of where they are in the pack. And actually, I think that's a really important kind of concept to live by on the water. And I think that's why we see them chipping away so often through the fleet, because they don't, when they are deep in the pack, they know that they're able, if they just keep the process the same, keep their manoeuvres slick, and just keep the decision making the same as it always is, don't change anything, they know that they've got the speed and the ability to chip their way through the pack.
But the key philosophy really is avoiding don't get involved with the umpires, don't get involved with other boats.
Yeah, which I think is always a winner. Those, you don't want to be getting penalties when you're in such a tight fleet. It's just so punishing.
I think it's the converse that's true. It's getting involved is always a losing thing with umpires. Anyways, let's maybe in the next few minutes we can have a look at the projected points standings. But no mistaking who's leading this race. It's Sled. Platoon have got themselves up to second. And there we go. American Magic 11 points ahead of Sled. So that points differential dropping. Alcedo Vitamina in third just now, with Alpha Plus on equal points. Criolla also in the same points. And then 58 for Allegra and Vayu and Pravetza and Paprec. It's not, it's got even closer. Unbelievable. So you have 4 points between third and ninth. So 6 boats within 4 points. It's unbelievable racing. Sled doing all they can to solidify their third podium in a row. 3 podiums from 4 races is pretty good on board with Team Pravetza. Another fully international cosmopolitan team, Turkish flag, but there you see the just some of the countries represented on board. John Cutler there on the helm, working with the Hamish Pepper, the tactician. Navigator Nacho Postigo looking out to windward, chasing Paprec. Paprec and Alcedo still 8 metres apart in terms of distance to the windward mark. But Katie, this is really just typical, beautiful Palma sea breeze conditions. Not super physical, but a few options to make gains and losses.
Yeah,
fantastic
it's a really
sport.
beautiful day out here, and I think, there is still so many options. Yeah, this is the kind of day that when someone thinks about champagne sailing, this is literally it. It's so nice, and I'm so envious of everyone out there on the boats. But yeah, it's plenty of opportunities out here still. It looks like Platoon have actually made, and Bayou actually have made a bit of a gain on Sled tacking back onto starboard. Sled opting to continue out further towards that right hand side. But yeah, a bit of a gain to Bayou and Sled here. I think Sled's got a bit of work to do to get that game back.
So it's not enough for Sled to just cover Platoon, for sure, or it hasn't been. Platoon finding something to the left, definitely starting to offer some gains. Let's watch American Magic, whether that works for Terry and Victor Diaz de Leon. You can just see the energy on board American Magic. Terry Hutchison, pretty high octane, let's say that. Very, very demanding of his crew. Not happy. However, just have to keep chipping away, and as they say, stick to the processes.
I think the thing with all of these top boats as well, all of the boats, even though American Magic have got a comfortable lead overall and in the wider kind of circuit standings, they're racers, and they do this because they want to win. So every race they're going to be, if it's not going well, if they're not sailing well, regardless of the overall, they're going to be very frustrated that they're not doing well, and you can see that. You could see that just then.
Absolutely. I mean, Terry, I mean, they all are, you know, they're hardwired to win. The Gladiator getting themselves back into this a little bit. Chipping away. Certainly have found something. But other than that top three, that group 4 to 8, the positions changing regularly. But I think Sled and Platoon just working the middle of the course, trying to stay reasonably conservative, but still minimise the number of manoeuvres.
Yeah, it's really hard being those boats out the front, that if you're kind of trying to, if there's a bit of a split behind you, they've got a group on the left and a group on the right, and it's kind of like, which one do you go with? Do you try and defend? Do you try and sail your own race? It's really tricky for Sled and Platoon right now, trying to manage the wider race course, knowing that kind of one of those sides could come in really strong, but also trying to battle with each other and keep an eye on each other. So that's going to be a really hard situation to manage, and there'll be lots of conversations in the afterguards on these boats with them kind of discussing how they manage this race course.
On board with Crayola, out to the right, just converging with Paprec. Seem to have good wind pressure, nicely powered up. Eduardo Plas is the owner-driver there. It's carrying on converging, and Paprec will just tack underneath. Probably force Crayola to tack away, perhaps. Let's wait and see whether they have the momentum, whether they can just roll over the top of the French boat. Anyway, it does seem like Sled just keeping a little bit of a loose cover on Platoon, or maybe they will. They have just crossed. As Katie was saying, it's really hard when you're in that lead group and you've got boats on the left and on the right.
Yeah, I think Sled made a really good decision there to kind of carry on past Platoon, and there's no more boats out higher than them on the left-hand side that are a threat, so I think a really good decision from them to go past Platoon and then kind of loosely cover them back over to that ley line. I think that was a really powerful play.
Platoon Aviation, I think, will try and...
Having said that, Platoon's tacked back out, and now Sled's tacked back with them. There's definitely an attacking battle going on here. They're definitely, Platoon's definitely trying to tack to get free of Sled, and Sled is absolutely not giving them an inch. They really, really want this win.
They do indeed. It's going to be a thrilling downwind, certainly between the two of them. There's only a boat length and a half between them, maybe less, as Platoon Aviation go behind the Sled. Sled have a race on their hands. Bayou have dropped a little bit. They've lost 100 odd metres. But then in turn, they're still got a little bit of distance on Alcedo Vitamina. How's Sled's ley line looking there? That's a much better
Pretty
perspective.
tight ley line here. Yeah, that literally, as you were just saying that, I was just saying the pretty tight ley line from Sled, but I think to me, unless the wind changes in the next kind of 20 seconds, I think they've got it, and I think that might have given them a bit of a gain to Platoon, who's kind of gone a bit wider on the ley line. So yeah, really, really good ley line call from Sled there, and I think still super tight between the two of them, and I think it's going to be all on the execution of these hoists.
Anyway, Sled round with the lead. In the end, quite comfortable. They're going to be halfway across the spreader leg. So Sled leading once again. Platoon Aviation round in third, and they're got a bit of distance back to Bayou. Then Alcedo Vitamina and Teasing Machine side by side. Sorry, I beg your pardon, Gladiator. Teasing Machine just behind. There we go, Alcedo, Gladiator, Teasing Machine, then Provezza. Oh, a little bit tight on ley line perhaps. In fact, they're quite low. Whether American Magic give them just enough room or not. John Cutler pulls the helm up and he just squeezes round that windward mark alongside American Magic. And Paprec, Criolla, Alpha Plus, and Katie unfortunately seeing a leg right at the very back of this race. So tough in this fleet.
Yeah, it's so punishing. You kind of get into a pack, or you make kind of a wrong decision, and then boats just pass you super quickly and you don't even see it coming. It's really tricky. But having said that, you can lose the places really quickly, or you can find yourself at the back, but you can also find yourself coming back to the front. Just look at that upwind from the boats on the left-hand side. I mean, Gladiator jumped from kind of pretty near middle or bottom half of the fleet, now up in 5th place just by kind of picking the right side upwind. So I think there is still opportunities to be made on this downwind as well, for sure. Going to be flying up through the fleet on this
second and final downwind of race number 9. There's the points as they stand going through. If they were to stay the same through the finish line, it would be a sled. Alcedo Vitamina would take third. Alpha Plus are 5 points off the podium now. Allegra 58, Vayu 58, Criolla 58, Pravetsa 59. Platoon Aviation on 63, Paprec, Gladiator and Teasing Machine. So a really punishing penultimate race for some teams in terms of their aspirations to finish on the podium. Can Platoon Aviation get through Sled? Sled, one of the most experienced and accomplished teams. Under pressure certainly from Platoon Aviation, but it's going to be hard for the German team, Katie, isn't it?
Yeah, I think this is another one of those situations where they've got to be patient and wait for the right moment to attack. They're currently kind of just following, really trying to stay on Sled's hip. I think both of them have got to be mindful of Vayu, because if Sled and Platoon start kind of battling it out now and sailing a little bit higher to kind of, for Sled especially, if Sled starts sailing a bit higher to protect the breeze from Platoon, then that could really open the door for Vayu inside them, and we're already seeing that a little bit on the tracking and on the video. You can see Vayu kind of dipping down inside Sled and Platoon a little bit, but I think, yeah, I mean, they're both Sled and Platoon have just jibed now, which is fully what I was expecting to happen. Really kind of aggressive attacking tactics from from Platoon right now. Sorry, they really are wanting to overtake Platoon, and I think we're going to see a bit of a jibing battle down here, and it's going to be all on execution of jibes and really powering up those boats as quickly as they can out of those jibes. Just that'll make all of the difference between whether they get rolled or not, basically.
It's fantastic. They're just watching this subtle art of coming out of the jibe for Harmuller Spear and the Platoon team. The temptation is always to come out too hot of the jibe and then bring the nose down. You could just see that they came out with power, and that just allowed them to bring the bow down a little bit and get, all they want to do is get down onto Sled's air as much as possible, while at the same time always trying to sail the shortest distance to the finish line. But Sled,
yeah, jibing's always tricky, but I think in this lighter stuff it needs so much finesse, and it is all about that exit angle and keeping the kite powered up, not coming out too high so that you end up losing ground, but also not coming out too low so you have nothing in the kite. And it's literally just like marrying up the trimmers, trimming the kite right, and trimming the kite right on the exit, the grinders getting the right timing, pulling the kite through, the helm matching up with all of that at the right angles. There's so much that goes into these jibes, and actually executing them well, it takes a lot to do a jibe well, but when you do, it makes such a difference.
Well, certainly you've got two of the most experienced and successful trimmers on Platoon Aviation, and Roscoe Halcrow and Javier de la Plaza. It's obviously on them in terms of the actual trim, the angle and power in the sheet, into and out of the jibe. But then it's very much down to Harm sailing round the kite, as it were. But so too it's the same case on Sled, just there watching. Coming out just a little bit hotter. Then the kite eased as the bow comes down. But for sure it's become a little bit more of a match between Sled and Platoon Aviation. Vayu working down the left a little bit. Sorry, to the right. We're
We're
just
seeing a bit
them.
of a similar story on this downwind to the last downwind, actually, with the difference between Vayu, who's currently in third position, and Sled and Platoon. On the last downwind, Sled and Platoon both throwing in quite a lot of jibes to stay in the breeze, to fight for those the good positioning on each other, whereas Vayu opting for holding out a bit longer and just doing the one jibe in. And it's currently actually looking like Vayu might have got a bit of a jump on Platoon by doing that. So two very different strategies, both very good strategies to have. But yeah, interesting on the same race course that you can have boats having two
philosophies.
completely different strategies for the downwind.
Indeed, on Vayu, it's Nick Rogers, double Olympic silver medalist in the 470, working with Manu Weiler, a local Mallorquian tactician and strategist. Won the first regatta in the US last year as tactician on the Vayu. But it's super close. Platoon Aviation, probably the quickest of the three boats at the moment, as Sled come out of their jibe.
Yeah, I think Platoon ending up interacting a bit with Vayu has kind of opened the door a little bit for Sled to put themselves in a really controlling position towards this finish line. But you've definitely got a battle between those three for the top three spots, and it's going to be all on their approach to this finish line and where they decide to jibe. We saw Platoon losing out a little bit on the about 5 minutes or a couple of minutes ago to Vayu, based on kind of where they decided to jibe, and the margins are so fine, it makes such a difference. So I think it's going to be a battle all the way to the finish for these top three boats.
Fantastic racing though. Super Saturday showdown. Sled have the upper hand just now, and it's a tussle for second and third between Platoon Aviation and Vayu. Gladiator have got themselves up to
Yeah,
four.
if I was on Sled right now, I'd be pretty happy that Platoon and Vayu are kind of a little bit closer, potentially having to engage with each other a bit more, have a little bit of a battle between themselves. And if I was on Sled, I'd be kind of willing that to happen, so that they would be able to sail a little bit freer and extend and kind of make their lead a bit more comfortable, but it's never that easy.
But really great racing, good. Such intensity on board all of these top three boats. Vayu then probably the youngest age range or average age of the top three boats for sure. The young pretenders, as it well, coming from Thailand. And it's Don Whitcraft who's steering there. Did a 49er program, AT, didn't he? Don, I think.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, I think both the Whitcraft brothers, they did a 49er campaign last cycle, and they, I think, really narrowly missed out on a spot at the games. But yeah, I've had some chats with them about 49ering, and I'm pretty sure I saw them in Weymouth a couple of months ago. So hopefully they'll carry on with that. I'll see them around the racecourse or around the circuit.
I think Don's actually in full-time education, if I'm not wrong. I think he's at uni in Holland. Anyway, this race running down, the clock running down as they get towards the finish line. Sled willing the finish line to come to them as quickly as possible, but they have that little bit of a gap. Hard to see much happening between now and the finish line, but credit to Gladiator, Katie, they've made a nice recovery through the race, getting up to fourth.
Yeah, I think they managed that second upwind really well, clearly identifying that the left-hand side was pretty strong at the top on that on the first upwind, learning from the first lap and putting that into practice on that second lap, and they made a really nice gain up there. They have got a couple of boats out on the left-hand side of this downwind that they are probably watching and willing to kind of slow down a bit, but yeah, I think they can be pretty happy with that race recovery.
So Sled heading for their second race win off the regatta. They've been pretty consistent other than a pair of tenths. Should just come down through the line in the next few seconds, and that really will solidify their position in second. Certainly Don Cowie saying to me this morning all they could do in terms of chasing American Magic was go out and try and win races, and so far they have been successful, so massive credit to the sled team. Much less under the radar, Katie, this time. Platoon Aviation coming through in second, a good score for them. And indeed, massive credit to the Thai team, the Whitcraft family team, getting third, which is their second to best result. They've had a couple of seconds in the earlier stages of the regatta. Platoon Aviation, a good score for them, as I say, but Gladiator then coming at the line with pace, converging fast with Alcedo. Will Alcedo be able to get there? I think it's still going to be Gladiator, but it's so close. Another photo finish, Gladiator, and then Alcedo, but fabulous finish. American Magic coming through next. Really kind of a little bit hobbled off the start line and then couldn't get into the match in the top third of the fleet. But that will do. It's not harmed their chances of winning particularly. Alcedo, American Magic 5th and 6th. Now Alpha Plus might have pulled back something of a recovery there. Very useful coming through, I think, in 7th. Then very close between Pravetsa, Criolla and Teasing Machine. Teasing Machine losing out in the end. That's hard to bear. They were up in 4th at one point. Teasing Machine dropping to 9th. Criolla get 10th. Patrick 11th and Allegra in 12th. Considering how they started the regatta, that is really painful for Andy Soriano's team, when they really needed to be putting a top 3, top 4, even top third of the fleet result on the board. A lot of scratching heads and disappointment for the British team. But Katie, as I was saying, Don Cowie and the sled boys saying all they could do today is go out and try and win races, and they've done that. We were talking about them being under the radar yesterday, so clean and kind of in a little bit of stealth mode, just appearing just at the right time. But today that was off the start line, getting to the right early. Perfect execution, Katie, wasn't it, from Sled?
Yeah, honestly, that when you see boats racing like that, it's a real pleasure to watch. They kind of just really picked the fastest line up that first upwind, and then they had, even when kind of boats were bringing the battle to them, you've had Platoon and Vayu both bringing the battle to Sled, and they still kind of kept calm, and everything they did was done with such precision, and looked like it was so well thought out, and it never felt like there was any panic, and it was really nice to watch, and you always feel quite secure watching sled race. That's how I kind of feel. I feel like they're always reliable, they're always calm, and yeah, I think they sailed a really nice race. But
nonetheless, I'm not quite sure of the arithmetic, the maths. But it does, no matter what, it does leave American Magic with a very straightforward task in the final race. Hopefully we'll see in the next few seconds, but it's going to be pretty much signed, sealed, delivered for them at the moment. But you never know, stranger things have happened on the Bay of Palma with the 52 Super Series. As we've seen many times before, but the battle for the podium, then Sled solidifying their challenge for their third podium in a row for sure, and then after that it's Alcedo who have laid claim to it. Alcedo then pretty solid through that race, Katie, unspectacular, but didn't make any mistakes really.
Yeah, again, I think their sailing style is, kind of minimising mistakes, and they sailed a really good race. Essentially, they kind of stayed in the mix the whole time, just kept doing the kind of usual process, usual things, and they got another solid result on the board, which for a new team to be posting results like that, and especially having kind of merging two different crews, I think they're on the up, and they're certainly one to watch, and it's super impressive.
Nicolo Sanfelice, the young Italian navigator, his sock game is important to them though, isn't it, Katie?
I think sock game is always important, honestly. It can really change the whole mood of the day if you have a good pair of socks on.
Well, Nicolo is always got good socks, always bright and colourful, a young and up-and-coming Italian navigator. Did a season with American Magic, but doing a great job on Alcedo Vitamina, who are tied on points for third and fourth. So then American Magic leading on 33 points overall. That's 13 points. So indeed, American Magic winning then with a race to spare, I think, unless my mathematics is that bad. But 13 points. 12 boats in the fleet. The job is done for American Magic. Sled second on 46. Alcedo Vitamina on 52. 52 for Alpha Plus. Allegra 58. Value 58. 59 for Criolla. Prevezza 60. Platoon Aviation 63. 64 for Paprec. Gladiator 68 and 95 for Teasing Machine. Disappointing for Teasing Machine, but all credit then to American Magic. As I say, I don't think they can be beaten with that 13-point margin. 12 boats racing. The deal does seem to be done, but we'll take a little bit of a break, and we'll join us again for the final race of Puerto Portals 52 Super Series Sailing Week. Very much a swan song for American Magic at this regatta anyway.
The world's leading monohull racing circuit is back in Porto Portals in Mallorca. Teams are all set to do battle on the Bay of Palma.
Oh, it's a penalty.
The boats are fully powered up. The whole crew, they're in the back of the boat. I absolutely love it.
Who would have thought a big win for the Finns?
Oh, so close.
Great racing, sled catching American Magic.
They are neck and neck.
Everything is possible until you cross that finish line.
Fantastic racing.
What a thrilling race. Oh my God.
Speak much louder than all my fears. Sometimes I just wanna disappear, running until I can feel you near. I need a new purpose. I'm looking for so much more. Don't leave me here searching. You're just what I'm longing for. When times are getting crazy and everything seems hazy, is there some place for safety I could go
one special vibe.
The world's leading monohull racing circuit is back in Puerto Portals in Mallorca. Teams are all set to do battle on the Bay of Palma.
Oh, it's a penalty.
The boats are fully powered up. The whole crew, they're in the back of the boat. I absolutely love it.
Who would have thought a big, big win for the Finns?
Oh, so close.
Great racing, sled catching, American magic.
They are neck and neck.
Everything is possible until you cross that finish line.
Fantastic racing.
What a thrilling race. Oh my God.
Well, indeed, anything is possible until you cross the finish line. But in the case of American Magic, the champagne is on ice. They have won the 52 Super Series regatta here in Puerto Portals, penultimate regatta of the season with a race to spare. Say they have a 13-point margin, 12 boats. Really just have to go out and finish to secure the title. We saw Harry Melgis and some of the teams just shaking hands quietly as they came across the finish line. But otherwise, Sled have a reasonably comfortable buffer of 6 points ahead of Alcedo Vitamina. Alpha Plus tied on points just now with Alcedo. Allegra, that 12th place for them. Really not what they want to finish on. They need to bounce back with a solid final result. Value that third place, keeping them in contention for the podium. They're 6 points off third place, but really a great finale in prospect in terms of that third place on the podium. Really, any of the teams from third to eighth, really, maybe Platoon Aviation could have a hope of getting there, but it would take a bit of a miracle. You have to reflect on that 16-point result there in the fourth race when they had the collision. 13 points for DNF plus 3 penalty points. It's kind of woulda, shoulda, coulda for Platoon Aviation at the moment, but coming away with a good second there. Katie, your thoughts on this next race? Breeze is still looking good, fairly steady, 10 knots, 11 knots, something like that maybe.
They've set a little bit further right, so it's at 210 now, but yeah, no massive changes for the last race. I'm kind of expecting a bit more of the same. But yeah, I think another really good race to come, I reckon.
What did we learn from the previous race in terms of strategy, where you want to go? Sled winning from the committee boat end of the line and going right. The left certainly came strong, working for Gladiator, getting them back into a solid result for them in the end. I think they were fourth, weren't they, through the finish line? But there's certainly no one side is a
really
cut and dried.
different.
Yeah, go on, Katie.
No, for sure. I don't think it's going to be. It's not as easy as kind of like definitely go left or definitely go right. I think Sled started a really powerful race by going off the committee boat, tacking out early, and then kind of playing that middle right-hand side. And on the second beat as well, they kind of played more of the middle of the course. But as you say, Gladiator came in super strong from the top left of that last race on that last beat. So yeah, I think either way, I think I'd probably still be more confident of the left than the right, just with it being Palma. But I think clear breeze, get the boat going fast, give yourself some space to make options off the line, and I think, yeah, I'd probably say middle left, I'd say would be pretty strong on this one.
Indeed, so we're not under warning signal as yet. I see that Maria's just asking the teams to stay a little bit clear as she sets the line. But convincing regatta win in the end for American Magic. Katie winning with a race to spare. Good to see kind of muted celebrations as they came through the finish line. We saw Harry Mel just shaking hands with the guys round about him, but it's been a super impressive performance, hasn't it?
Yeah, really impressive and really consistent, especially kind of yesterday. They really threw the hammer down, and with 2 race wins, I think, and finding that insane mode, which like the super high, super fast yesterday, I think they've sailed a really good day and a really good regatta in general. So, and it's always kind of nice to win with a race to spare. It takes the pressure off this last race, but as we were kind of saying, in the last race when they didn't have the best race, I think they're going to want to still really be fighting for kind of probably definitely a win in this last race, wanting to go out on a high, because no matter kind of, they'll be really happy with the win overall, but if they finish this last race on a good race as well, then that'll be extra happy.
And they're well clear on the circuit standings. I think they've probably opened out more of a margin. Indeed, there you go. It's now 42 points clear of Sled. Sled really quite solid in second, in a battle for third between Alcedo Vitamina and Paprec. Only 3.5 points between them. Are going to be keeping an eye on each other. Platoon Aviation 206 points, Alpha Plus 212.5, Value 218, 221 for Allegra, Pravetza 235, 263 for Gladiator, Phoenix 295. Phoenix, as I say, joining us again in Porto Cervo, Criolla in 12th and Teasing Machine in 13th. So still plenty to play for in terms of the podium places. Sled looking pretty good for second overall, but anything could happen. We're 3.5 minutes before the start. American Magic will just stick to the processes as they always do. But a number of teams then, Katie, looking to finish certainly with a morale boosting top 3, top 4, just to come back after the various different disappointments through the week. In particular, I guess Allegra, having started so well, fading today. They need to come back and give themselves a morale boost ahead of Porto Cervo, as well as looking at the positives and negatives of the week. So too Pravetza underperforming compared to their hopes and expectations for the season, but there's a few other boats in the same category. But 2.5 minutes to go, something like that. Katie, your thoughts on the start line? What are we thinking in terms of positioning and left or right, etc.?
Yeah, so most of the boats at the moment are just on port, kind of heading out towards the boat end. I think we're still quite a long way from the start, so I'm not surprised by that. They'll want to give themselves space if they still wanting to start at the pin. But yeah, everyone's kind of, they remind me of sharks who are kind of waiting to prey, waiting to attack their prey. They're just kind of sharking around, waiting to find their position, decide where they want to position themselves, how they want to position themselves on other boats to really get that good start. But yeah, it's currently looking like kind of Gladiator, Alcedo, Allegre, all are up at that boat end, and you've got Criolla, you've got Vayu, Alpha Plus, Teasing Machine, all kind of more towards this boat end is how it looks like it's shaping up now. But yeah, quite an even spread at the moment, I'd say. Maybe a bit more bunched up at the boat end, but yeah, we've still got a little bit of time. So you wonder whether American Magic will just push it super hard just because the deal is done, or whether they'll just be conservative or just take it as it comes. But meantime, Criolla, your favourite friends for the pin end of the line, on board with them. Yeah, they love this pin end start and just heading out to the left hand side.
They do time and distance on the pin. I think it's Teasing Machine just a little bit further up the line. So 45 seconds to go. Gladiator, guess where they are? Committee boat.
Oh, I'm going to guess boat.
It's standard procedure for Gladiator in many respects. And so too for Criolla. Sled just checking the line to say we've got an AP flag up, Katie. So a little bit of a postponement. So the breeze.
Yeah, we've got a slight AP up.
A slight AP. I love a slight AP. That's what we're just waiting to see what's going to happen. But there is an AP up, and so we're going to have to wait and see what happens. By the looks of things, a bit of a right shift, looking at the angles that they're coming off the line at. Enemy Gladiator just coming around the boat.
Yeah, I think those boats at that committee boat end that were kind of above the boat are going to probably be pretty happy that they put the AP up, because if there's a right hand shift and you're stuck above the boat, you've got a bit on to actually get through that line and not be pinned out. So I think that's a blessing in disguise for that bunch at the boat end.
Wonder whether she'll pull the pin mark forward a little bit, if that is the way the breeze is. We run these robotic marks now, like so many regattas, and it makes it so much easier to tweak the line, as well as, of course, the obvious
yeah, they're already doing now. I can already
benefits.
see the mark. Yeah, I can see them tracking upwind now. I think they're actually, yeah, they're super efficient marks. They're able to change the course kind of without having to get the ribs in, without having to rush and all of that. And as you say, they're super sustainable, and I think I think they're really effective, and I hope that we see more of them around kind of the wider sailing circuit as well.
Indeed, they can send them home on their own as well after racing. Just go back to the harbour.
Yeah, I think they look really sweet. I almost think they should have little names and personalities. They always remind me of little live lemmings or something like that. I think they're adorable.
Let's have a quick look at the American Magic lineup. As I say, they've won the regatta with a race to spare. It's a while since any team on the 52 Super Series has done that. But let's have a look at the lineup just while we're waiting for the marks to be set, or the line to be finished. Harry Melgis then on the helm, Terry Hutchison, tactician, Victor Diaz de Leon, the strategist, Sarah Stone, navigator, Sean Clarkson on the runners, main trimmer, Lucas Calabrese, James Dagg is the trimmer, along with Ian Liberty, Trevor Bird, the grinder, Luke Mueller, the other grinder, Matt Cassidy, super dependable pitman, Norm Burge, relatively new to the team in the mid-bow, Greg Gendell, the legendary bowman, always in his white Oakley shades, and Lara Poltak, the floater. So they are the Porto Portals 52 Super Series Sailing Week champions, we know that, and they will, I'm sure, be celebrating accordingly this evening. So congratulations to them and all the American Magic fans at home. Big question is whether they can win next month in Porto Cervo. But Katie, good to see Platoon Aviation. I think having bottomed out this regatta, there's an element of new chemistry on board with new navigator and a new bowman. But these changes take a little bit of time to settle in. But I understand their speed loop or speed team were having some conversations long into the evening last night, and it clearly seems to have worked for them. But it was interesting, yes, Katie, talking to Morgan, the coach yesterday, just saying it's all about doing the basics well and not making the simple mistakes. And they did that race for sure, didn't they?
Yeah, I think if I was to describe Platoon's sailing yesterday, I would have kind of described it as keeping it simple and doing the basics well. And we saw them kind of making life easy for themselves in a way by making sure those ley lines were really accurate, really comfortable, not doing kind of like 2 or 3 tacks up to that ley line, just getting on the ley line early, giving themselves time, giving themselves space to think, to figure out the next moves. And I think they did a really nice job of that. And I think, quite so often it's so easy to overcomplicate sail racing. Like, it is really complicated, but also it is also quite simple in a lot of respects. Like, it's just do the basics well, the fundamentals that you kind of learn when you're a kid almost, like just it's so easy to forget them. But yeah, stripping it back sometimes is the most effective way of going forward again.
But as I mean, it's a kind of woulda, coulda, shoulda, but that's 16 points from one race, which could have been avoided. And indeed, the next race, there were, third or fourth, and then got two penalties, which ended up with the seventh. So from their perspective, that's 23 points from two races, when it easily they could have, if they could have avoided them, that it would have had such a different complexion to their whole regatta. But anyway, they are very much on the up and up, I hope, for the Platoon Aviation team. But let's look at the circuit standings as we contemplate Porto Cervo in less than a month's time. American Magic on 126 points. There were 22 points clear of Sled. Sled looking pretty solid now for second. Alcedo Vitamina 190, I say 3.5 points clear of the French team of Paprec. Paprec were third coming into this regatta, so these positions changing, but it's going to be one of the most exciting duels in the Porto Cervo at the finals. But there will be so many battles all the way through, and as is almost always the case, it's often down to single points separating teams all the way down through the leaderboard to the bottom. But just waiting for the start line to be set. Katie, what do you see going on?
Yeah, so I think they're just relaying the course. I think the breeze has gone round to, we've seen it as far as 225, so there was a super big right shift. I think it's now stabilising a bit closer to 215, but they've relayed the windward mark and the pin end, so I'm hoping that they'll set them off again pretty quickly. My forecasts haven't got it going any more right than this, so I think hopefully it'll stabilise here and we'll be good to go.
Will be. We don't shouldn't be too concerned about the time limit, which is 3:30 for any warning signal. No warning signal after 3:30, and we've in a few occasions over the years we've gone to 3:20 something, 3:25, and still managed to get a warning signal away. But so no great urgency, but be nice to get this regatta completed. So a little bit disappointing, Katie, for Alpha Plus in that race. They got themselves a little bit tied up. I think it was kind of on the start line. They were trying to affect or try and hold American Magic back, which they did, as you might expect. Bounced American Magic out to the right, but then from then on they found themselves increasingly getting into traffic. And that kind of cost them, didn't it?
Yeah, I mean, the start is, the coaches will always tell you, the start is the most important part of the race. You can win or lose a race on a start, and it's really easy if you've got a space and you can kind of think about like your own start. You've got space to trigger into, all of that stuff. You're not worrying about defending a gap. Then that's great, you can get a good start, but it's super easy to get distracted by a lot of the noise, by the boats around you, get caught up in defending your position, and then all of a sudden you're a second, 2 seconds late on triggering on the boats around you, and then you just get absolutely swallowed up by the pack. And then on such an open course as this, it's really hard to then, once you're swallowed up, to then find a clear lane with clear breeze, and it's really hard to fight your way back through the fleet when there's so much kind of tacking going on. There's so many different lanes people are choosing. It's you give yourself a lot of work to do if you get swallowed up on the start line.
Katie, a few words. Obviously, you're very close to the Gladiator team. A few words about their regatta. Then it's say they came here as the defending champions, having won here a year ago, and they're finishing up the event in 11th. Again, hindsight is 20/20 vision, but what's been happening with the Gladiator team?
Yeah, so I think that basically the issue they've been having this week appears to kind of be their starting has been a bit of an issue. We've seen them getting pinned out of that boat end quite a lot of times, and I think that's a move that they really like doing. That's worked for them a lot in the past. It's meant that even if they've been a bit late at that boat end, they can tack out, use the speed that they've got, get out to the corner and then come back quickly, and that's really paid for them. But I think with more and more boats wanting to use those strategies, they've really struggled. Interestingly, actually, in that last race, they did opt for kind of a midline start, which I thought that was really good. I thought that kind of showed that they are clearly learning as they're going along. They're kind of identifying maybe some of the issues that they were having on the start line, and they're trying different things, switching it up, which I think is really good to see. I think in this kind of tight fleet, you can't be doing the same thing every race. It's just not going to work. You need to be switching it up. You need to be kind of a bit more adaptive, a bit more dynamic with kind of the plans and stuff like that. But yeah, I think generally, as long as they're kind of able to identify what mistakes they're making, as long as they're able to learn from it and kind of feel like they're still moving forward, then they're pretty happy as a team, and they've been definitely doing that this week. There's been lots of really constructive conversations in the debriefs around kind of mistakes that are made on the course, around how they can make things better. Really constructive and useful conversations have been had. So I think it's hopefully looking positive, and hopefully they'll be able to kind of bounce back for Porto Cervo and kind of back to the drawing board a little bit, and be able to bounce back.
I mean, Porto Cervo was a favourite regatta venue for so many sailors. So many sailors have been there so many times over the years, but it's especially dear to the heart of Guillermo Parada, who led the Azura program for so many years to, I think, 4 titles over the course of their history in the 52 Super Series, and of course by extension Bruno Zerilli, the navigator from Azura. So they'll be very comfortable, feeling pretty much at home in Porto Cervo, and Tony Langley loves it there as well, and I think it was actually there that they had their first significant success, getting into the top results as far as I remember, going way back. So I think they'll be a team that will be happy to be on a kind of home for them. Same too though does apply here for Guige and Bruno Zerilli. This Porto Portals was the actual physical home for Azura in those days. Then having a quick look to see on board American Magic, absolutely still in a state of high alert, just watching to see what the breeze is doing. Victor Diaz de Leon there, just at the back of the boat. He's such a talented sailor, and taking a little bit of time to settle into the relationship with Terry. Both quite high octane individuals in their own ways, but that certainly is played out. Victor's got such a good feel for the race course and what the breeze is doing. Correspondingly, Harry Melgis is low key and super talented, bringing a lot of energy to the programme. So we're under 4 minutes to go finally. A race 10 off 10. It's been a tough regatta, Katie, isn't it, with 2 3 race days?
Yeah, it's been 2 really long days in a row actually, and in this heat that is going to be kind of, the fatigue is going to be building up. Today is probably going to feel like a super short day for everyone on the water, but you can't kind of ignore the fact that these teams are going to be tired, and it is going to be hard to keep up the energy and keep it going. But one more race, and hopefully we'll see some sick racing.
Exactly, and I think at the moment some of the teams are just running on a little bit on adrenaline. You don't really feel the fatigue, do you, at a regatta?
Sometimes that's all you need.
Yeah, exactly, but you don't really feel the fatigue at a regatta until it's over sometimes, or you don't feel the accumulated fatigue, mental stress as well as physical. But as you say, one more race, one more peak pinnacle performance, trying to pull it all together The great interview with Geiji Parada. Just hopefully that'll be aired at some point, but he was just talking about it's all about putting the individual pieces together for the programme, and for any regatta watching us at Alpha Plus, then tack round and start to set up for their position. There, Jordi Calafat looking upwind on Platoon Aviation. Jordi, born and bred in Palma, Olympic gold medalist, America's Cup winner, and a fantastic strategist. Great eye for the breeze. He's on Platoon Aviation. He's missed a couple of regattas on Platoon Aviation. Certainly good to have him back. So a minute and a half to go. Gladiator shaping up for the right-hand end of the line. Let's see where Sled are. Sled are much the same as where they were in the last start. American Magic right of middle. Platoon Aviation, Katie, thinking about a pin end start?
Yeah, it looks like they're going to be really fighting for the pin. There's quite a lot of boats down this pin end, actually. I think there's going to be a bit of traffic down here. You can see them all kind of like wiggling their way up almost to try and find a good position, find a good gap, and then stay and defend that gap. But I think this pin end looks to be where most of the boats are liking, kind of middle to pin end. But yeah, Platoon looking quite good for me on this pin end as long as they get their time and distance right. They're quite far back on the line, which is quite nice because it means you've got quite a long run up. You can get to speed, up to full speed for the gun if you time it rightly. So I think Platoon for me is set up really, really nicely. But yeah, lots of kind of fighting for positions all the way up the line here.
Value once again keeping the fleet forward. So to Alpha Plus bow forward now. They have got a little bit of gap to come down at 15 seconds to go. Now then, just watching Platoon Aviation all the time. It's all they need to do is build speed to get to the gun at 2 or 3 seconds to go. American. Well, there you go, individual recall bow 1, which is American Magic. Wouldn't expect to see that. Not really under pressure, but pulling the pin a few seconds or a second early maybe, having to go back. Don't have too far to go back, but it's certainly going to give themselves a little bit of a mountain to climb to get back into the fleet. But good start from Platoon Aviation. Good start at the boat end of the line from Gladiator. I think that was a lesson in time and distance and staying cool for Platoon Aviation in particular. They've got bows ahead of Alpha Plus, who are in turn a little bit up on Value. Sled made another really strong start. They've just got a little bit more of a gap to leeward to Value. So Katie, then Gladiator way out to the right, early off the line. Vasco and Jordi Calafat, Juan Villa electing for this left side. Value tacking off early. I think Sled going with them, not wanted to come too far to this left side. But we're liking the position of Platoon at the moment, Katie.
Yeah, I think Platoon and Alpha Plus are looking pretty nice to me. The breeze is swinging around a little bit more than the last race out here. It's kind of 205 to 215. There is a bit of a shifting breeze, but I think the pin end of the line was definitely biased. But it looks like most of the boats are, well, Platoon is now tacked back over, so most of the boats wanting to get back over towards that right hand side. As I said, it is shifting a little bit more out here, a little bit more unstable now, so I think it's going to be all about managing those shifts and trying to kind of protect yourself against the fleet from getting too separated and too exposed.
That's interesting. Let's see how Platoon manage that. Paprec certainly the best start, the best opening of this final race of the Porto Portals 52 Super Series Sailing Week. Going nicely. Sled 2, best of that group. Haprek pushing a little bit more to the right side. Not sure what happened with Criolla. Did Criolla have to do a penalty, Katie, do you know?
I couldn't see up at that end, but looking at their position now, yeah, I think something's definitely happened. I think there was quite a lot of traffic kind of in the middle of that line. There was a lot of action going on, so I think I wouldn't be surprised if there was some penalties in there.
Anyway, platoon aviation most left side at the moment, but pretty even. American Magic Quantum Racing have some work to do. Having earned yourself a 13-point margin, you really don't want to expend too much of it with a bad result in the last race. But there's time enough, and we've seen some good recoveries by the team this season. However, there's no easy passes, but Kate, as you're saying, the breeze is moving around a little bit more. That should be offering some opportunities for some bigger gains and losses in this race, maybe.
Yeah, for sure, and I think we'll definitely see that. I mean, the whole fleet, other than Criolla, is now on port heading back, and I think depending on whether this breeze lifts or heads, I think is going to make the difference between whether you see Gladiator on the far right or Platoon on the far left coming out on top. So it's kind of, these boats are probably going to be holding their breath a little bit and hoping that something comes down.
The top three places very, very close just now between the Sled, Provezza and Alcedo. Gladiator favouring that right side, looking upwind. I think I'm really liking the tactics of Alcedo generally, Katie. They're just middle of the course, going fast, fairly open lane.
Yeah, I think Alcedo and Sled today both have had very similar strategies, and it's kind of worked for both of those two teams in that first race. Like middle of the course, good start, kind of playing the middle of the course a bit more and really working those shifts, and I think that, yeah, that's paid off really well for them. So I think definitely watch how these guys come out at the top of this upwind, especially if there's maybe a little bit more to play for in that top third. There might be a little bit more tacking going on, trying to kind of find the best route to the windward mark, especially if they're in the middle of the course.
So Alpha Plus then holding third step on the podium, of positions stayed the same all the way through to the finish line. They have a 4-point buffer on Alcedo, and I'm quite sure that Edo Stead will be running the maths, running the arithmetic all the time. He's one of the most numerate tacticians I know, and remembers historically going back, like many tacticians who are especially numerical. They can remember races years ago, they can still remember the numbers, but Edo is one of them. So they're quite nicely positioned. They're just to the right of Vasco and Co on Platoon Aviation. So looking at the tracker, Katie, the left starting to work just in terms of the positions on the leaderboard. First is Sled, Alpha Plus second, Platoon third or fourth.
Yeah, that's kind of what we'd expect from Palmer, is that top left-hand side to come in pretty strong. But it looks like potentially a bit of a split breeze. Those left-hand boats look like they're getting a lift back into the in towards that right-hand side, whereas you look at Teasing Machine and Gladiator down at the bottom, look like they've got a bit of a header, which Gladiator and Allegre as well now have both decided to tack back on. Yeah, so I think we'll see that happens to that breeze as they get into more of the same breeze and who it ends up benefiting.
For me, just now, Sled and a left-hander lift on port, and probably continuing to lift. You know, typical Palmer. Platoon Aviation.
Yeah, you can see the difference between Provezza and Alcedo, even on they're kind of not too far apart. But if you look at the tracking, Provezza's clearly just managed to get into that lift, whereas Alcedo's kind of just dipped into that header. So those two boats on basically in similar piece of water, but kind of going pretty different angles.
But correspondingly, Allegre lifting and starboard, Gladiator lifting and starboard. Teasing Machine not quite the same, but on board with Allegre, they have some work to do. Maximum concentration, but at the moment the lead is being shared between Alpha Plus and Sled. Value up there in the mix. American Magic coming back. Katie, I've seen them mid-fleet. Projected points tally. Just the deltas between third and fourth, the points differentials jump so much. But at the moment, there's 8 points between Alpha Plus and Alcedo. But I'm almost sure that's not going to stay the same. But Edo said they're working with the helmsman Nick Egnott Johnson all the time. Ian Moore, the navigator, just hanging out. We get our interview with. Ian does a bloody good job of getting across that boat with his injured ankle. Coming back on starboard at Sled. There's really nothing in it between the top three, top four boats. All in the same phase, same piece of water.
I think we've got to keep an eye on Value and American Magic actually at this top left-hand side. They're coming across really quite strongly at the moment. Yeah, I think it's worth keeping half an eye on those guys up there.
Always put American Magic up to 7th so far. With Value. Certainly sitting quite a high angle, but boats ahead would cross for sure, but they're going to tack back, I think. It's a Platoon Aviation just tacking on American Magic's line. Backrec coming across on starboard. I think we'll tack under or on top of American Magic. Value tacking, but all to the good of Alcedo. Coming across on starboard. Cameron Appleton waving American Magic through if they want to go. happy with their line just now, but American Magic choosing to tack under them. Paprick will go across and I think probably tack. It's all on Katie, isn't it? Super close racing.
It is all on, and I think all of these boats kind of super close. And I think it's going to be super close all the way up there. I think there's going to be heaps of changes in kind of positions, and it's going to be all down to positioning on other boats and working those little shifts that you can get and kind of where you tack on other boats. It's really technical racing, like boat on boat racing up here at this top third of the beat.
Quick look again at the projected points standings as we approach the top mark in the next few minutes. American Magic sled would be on 50, Alpha Plus in 53 with a margin to Alcedo Vitamina. So talk to us about the ley lines, Katie. How's it shaping up? Between the sled
it's looking like there's been a bit of a...
Go on, sorry.
Yeah, it looks like there's been a bit of a left-hand shift here. Boats going kind of quite high and struggling to make the ley line, getting a bit of a header into this windward mark. You've got Platoon pretty far underneath the ley line. They're definitely going to have to do a tack up, and they might end up having a bit of an issue on Alpha Plus. I think they're probably going to have to try and get a little bit of separation away from Alpha Plus to be able to tack and duck them, because at one point they were close enough that they probably wouldn't have been able to get the tack in. But it looks like Alpha Plus is just about managing to hold that high mode into this mark. I think they've just about managed to get that ley line in. Platoon having to kind of double tack behind them, and then you've got the rest of the fleet kind of starting to rack up now on this starboard ley line.
So in the end, I think Alpha Plus will have a fairly comfortable little lead. Coming round the top mark now, final race off the regatta. Platoon Aviation in second, Value third. Paprick trying to get up for fourth, a little bit slow, and Cedric Chateau doing a nice job getting up on the tight ley line. Round the top mark now alongside sled. And Provezza. The American Magic in seventh. Alcedo I have an eighth. Then Teasing Machine ninth. Gladiator in 10th. 11th, Viola. Oh dear, and once again Allegra in 12th. So all to the good of the team from Hong Kong. The youngest average age, I think, in the fleet. Leading 3 times world champions. Great blend of age and experience with the likes of Craig Monk, Ian Moore, Rod Dawson and Edo, with guys in their 20s like Nick Egnod-Johnson and Luc van der Kamp. Gladiator getting a penalty, I believe. They're on the first downwind. It looks fairly even in terms of breeze. Everyone on starboard, Katie. Nobody jibed off as yet, I don't think. Straight boat speed race.
You've got one boat that's jibed off towards the back of the fleet. I think it might be Criolla. But yeah, straight boat speed race again. Alpha Plus and Platoon and Bayou all kind of out in the front. Alpha Plus looks to be sailing a slightly higher, slightly faster angle than Platoon, giving Platoon the chance to kind of dive inside them a bit, and potentially if Platoon can get a little bit further forward, end up controlling Alpha Plus's jibe and blocking Alpha Plus from jibing back. But yeah, so far it's looking like a speed race out to this right hand side, and again choosing the point at which you jibe back and finding the best breeze.
Anyway, Platoon Aviation shaping up to have a good final day, which they really would like. To go 3-2-2 from your last 3 races, you have to be fairly happy with that.
Yeah, they seem to have found a bit of pace on today. I really like their downwind mode at the moment. They're lower than Alpha Plus and kind of the same speed, which is what you want from a downwind. You want to be able to go as low as you can, as close as you can to the marks, but obviously that normally makes you a bit slower. So if you can stay fast while going low, that's kind of the dream mode. It looks like Alpha Plus is struggling a little bit for speed out on this side. They're having to go pretty high compared to Platoon, and I think they have actually lost, or the fleet is ending up inside them, which is going to make this jibe point really tricky for them, because I think they'll end up getting jibed on when they head back over on port.
They're just trying to ease down a little bit now. Anyway, Platoon Aviation trying to get down inside them. Katie, where do you stand on top knots and ponytails for pro sailors? Male.
I'm here for it, honestly. I think long hair looks really cool. But maybe that's my kind of, kiting, surfing, shredder background coming in. But I'm here for it.
No, I just laugh because we have two, of course, on Platoon Aviation, Andy Axelson and Mickey Muller, rocking the ponytails for many years. Bruno's really hiding the top knot.
One thing I would say is it is very hot.
Yeah.
As in temperature-wise, just to clarify that statement. It is warm to have a full head of hair under a hat or something.
Alpha Plus actually going quite quick. Obviously, looking at the speech just now, Platoon Aviation just coming out of the jibe, but Alpha Plus setting up for their jibe. I think they're not in any rush. Adostad, their hands on hips, just staying patient. Let's have a quick look at the Alpha Plus lineup on board. See this blend of age and experience, some young sailors, some older sailors. Nick Egnell-Johnson, the helmsman, is in his 20s. Kiwi match racing ace. Edo Stead is not in his 20s as a tactician. Sean Kang, owner. Ian Moore is the navigator. Steve Trebich, Steve-O is the runners and the project manager. Luke van der Kamp is also in his 20s, a young, early 20s. He's the floater and project manager as well. Rod Dawson, Alexander Goff, Zach Hurst, super experienced trimming team. Phil Clapp, as I've said a few times, this big, super powerful grinder. Craig Monk, Olympic bronze medalist and America's Cup racer. 2 times America's Cup winner as the grinder. 2 times winner with Team New Zealand. Brian Say, the pit. James Mitchell and Pedro Mas, mid-bow and bow. And they are leading this race at the moment. They've gone on just a little bit, as if by magic, the curse of the commentator. Just as Katie warned, the possibilities of them going out to the right there, and maybe this investment's going to work for them, but Certainly, Katie, they seem to be fairly confident. Edo didn't look to be particularly stressed as the platoon went a little bit earlier. So we'll see how this plays out. American
Yeah,
Magic
I think if
coming
the
down
breeze has
right.
gone left a little bit. Yeah, if the breeze has gone left a little bit, I think starboard becomes quite a long jibe. So trying to get most of that jibe done first is never a bad thing. So I think that's probably why they're pretty happy to stay out on starboard, get a little bit more separation, not engage too much with the rest of the fleet, and hopefully find some speed and some breeze to come back towards the marks.
American Magic, I think, just doing that. Just watching the crew dynamics. The American Magic are so much more dynamic in their crew work, as you just see them working all the time on the bow.
Yeah, you can see them all like packed in like sardines, and they're trying to really keep their weight together and keep it, when they move, they try and move together and keep as close together as you can to almost work as one unit. There's so many different people on these boats, but the goal is to kind of almost get you all working as one. It's like a well-oiled machine, isn't it, on these boats?
As you said, Katie, it's like sailing a big high-performance dinghy in terms of dynamics, crew dynamics. The boats really do respond to the weight changes fore and aft and side to side. Anyway, I would have Alpha Plus and Platoon fairly even. Alpha Plus just a little bit quicker there on the speed gun. Sled quickest off the fleet at the moment to over 11 knots, along with Gladiator. Edo rocking some yellow lime green socks. 80 just for information.
Yeah, I'm here for the fluoro socks. Big fan.
Anyway, let's watch now as Platoon Aviation and Alpha Plus converge once again. Platoon Aviation coming back on starboard. And that differential, as you see, dropping all the time down to 2 meters. And I imagine it should continue. So Platoon Aviation just maybe a fraction quicker just now. Really nothing in it. Choice of leeward gate mark. Katie, your thoughts? You'd want to go left. Left mark looking upwind. Probably a little bit closer to the windward mark.
Yeah, I think if the breeze has gone left, I'd probably be thinking left-hand mark and relatively early tack out. Lead the fleet back over to that right-hand side potentially. But I'd be definitely evaluating kind of what the wind was doing on this downwind and making a decision. Yeah, making a decision based on what we've seen on the downwind.
But the chemistry between the navigator and tactician is so important. In the end, I think Platoon Aviation just holding their kite a little bit longer, getting round the right-hand mark. Probably you would give that rounding to Platoon Aviation just by a boat length, but maybe Alpha Plus happier with the left-hand mark, but certainly Platoon Aviation coming out with speed and height out of that right-hand mark, but they will be going through the lee of the spinnakers, or the disturbed air of the spinnakers to their left, whereas Alpha Plus sailing clear to windward of the fleet. Vayu coming round in third. Sled in fourth. I think we're going to see American Magic in fifth in the end. Sixth on the right-hand market is Prevetsa. Paprec. Alcedo swinging in late on the right-hand mark on the bows of Priola. Allegra have made a little bit of a gain coming down the run. And we'll have a nice clean drop chasing, teasing machine round. Gladiator going on that right-hand mark. Gladiator coming in with pace round the right-hand mark, probably quicker, and will close distance on Allegra as a result. And then American Magic settling down, Terry Hutchins sorting out the runner tails. Lucas Calabrese there, the super talented main sheet trimmer. And Alpha Plus and Platoon Aviation closing now, and it does seem to be a net gain to Platoon Aviation, who tack on the bows of Alpha Plus. Alpha Plus respond. Out there to their right is Vayu. So a small gain, I think, to Platoon Aviation. Really nothing in it. Alpha Plus bounced back to the left. Is that going to be a disadvantage to them, do you think, Katie?
I honestly think it kind of completely depends what breeze we're going to get at the top of this course. But they've opted to kind of tack back again to cover Platoon. Yeah, I think they want to kind of keep close to Platoon and hope that the breeze kind of winds up left, as we often see it doing in Palma. Yeah, those boats on the left-hand side often wind up inside them, so that's what they'll be hoping for right now by staying on top of Platoon. So I wouldn't be unhappy with my position if that was me.
Value credit to them, to Nick Rogers and Manu Weiler and co on board. They've had a bit of an up and down regatta, as have many teams, but if they finish with 2/3 today, they could certainly pat themselves on the back and go away reasonably happy with what they've accomplished in here on the Bay of Palma. And Platoon Aviation, as they say, if they could do 3-2-1 from their last 3 races, they at least give them a huge amount of confidence heading to Porto Cervo. So still 5 points between Alpha Plus and Alcedo. Sled comfortable just now for second. There was only 4 points in it. Sled lying fourth in this race. Anything can happen, but anyway, Platoon Aviation is finishing on something of a high note. What would you like to bet, Katie, that Platoon Aviation win in Porto Cervo?
Oh, that is a good question. I mean, if they keep on this trajectory, I wouldn't be too worried about putting some money on it. But yeah.
No. You're supposed to take my bet. And bear in mind, Porto Cervo is expensive.
I'll bear that in mind.
Good.
I'll get back to you at the start of next event.
Oh, come on, before then. Anyway, I do like the way they're sailing, and I think this finishing with a really strong final day will take them, as I say, to a venue where I'm sure I know they feel comfortable. Another great lifestyle destination, as indeed Porto Portals is.
Platoon have had a really nice mode actually up this on port on upwind. They've kind of kept quite a high mode on Alpha Plus and Vayu above them. It looked like Alpha Plus was maybe trying to go a bit of a lower mode, maybe trying to see if they could get the roll on Platoon. But in this wind, I don't think the speed differentials are big enough between the high mode and the low mode to be able to get that roll on unless you're really kind of almost over the top of the boat below you. So I think really nice job from Platoon, staying in quite a high mode, pretty much pinching out Vayu and Alpha Plus, causing them to kind of have to tack back onto port, and now Platoon's just followed. So I think for Platoon now it's going to be about defending their position and just kind of trying to stay in between Alpha Plus and the marks, and being on the defensive.
And we're on the final beat of the final race here in Porto Portals 52 Super Series Sailing Week. Alcedo Vitamina may be making a little gain there perhaps, but getting into the lead, I think, quite high on port. But this is really a scrap for the minor placings in this race just now. Riola struggling from the back. So I think they had a starting penalty. So there's our projected points tally if positions stayed the same through the finish line. It would be a 12-point lead for American Magic over Sled. Sled 4 points in hand over Alpha Plus. And I think Alpha Plus, Katie, they'd be quite happy with that in terms of reaching their goal of being on the podium, but at the same time losing 7 points on that tough penalty yesterday. But for 7 points, they could have been second, but woulda, coulda, shoulda. But the key thing is the improvement, stepping up to the next level, and knowing they'll be even more competitive for Porto Cervo. So many exciting things in prospect for Porto Cervo. All the private battles, teams looking to finish with a regatta win, having maybe underperformed over the course of the year. Teams looking to close out to the circuit podium, and there I'm talking principally of Paprec and Alcedo. This little tacking duel going on between Platoon Aviation and Alpha Plus. Really not very much in it, Katie. 25 metres or so according to the tracker.
Yeah, not much at all. I mean, they're just tacking on each other super close, and I think they might continue to do so, or it'll be kind of a bit of a battle all the way up to this windward mark. But I think, to me, Alpha Plus has gained a little bit back on Platoon. So maybe this left-hand side coming in quite strong, which might end up being an issue for Platoon if this left-hand side does come in. But yeah, I think small gain to Alpha Plus at the moment. It's just whether they can actually jump past Platoon by winning out of these boat-on-boat situations.
I'm loving listening there. We can't hear the fine detail of exactly what Edo Stead's saying, but you can just see from the body language and his demeanour, super calm demeanour, just talking to the team this is what we're doing next and this is what we're doing after that. And it was a real great insight talking to Ian Moore in our interview pre-start or before dock out, just seeing how Ado is such a level-headed individual, doesn't get flapped, always thinking about the next move. And he really, after yesterday, Ian said he really settled the team down. They came back out fighting and got a good result in the second race or third race yesterday with that second. There are two Asian teams then, Alpha Plus and Value, in second and third. They have a great rival, great friendship ashore. Having come originally from the same racing circuits in Asia. It's great to see them both doing well at the moment, and there will be a big moment for Sean and Tina Kang's programme if they can get on the podium. So Platoon Aviation actually have eased a little bit clear of Alpha Plus just now. Coming into this top mark, they'll go for a fairly comfortable ley line, I would imagine.
They've extended a little bit forward there on Alpha Plus. Yeah, and I think Alpha Plus is going to have the decision on whether they try and go for a tight ley line inside them, or actually no, just looking at it now, Platoon have managed to extend enough to be able to just tack and cross Alpha Plus, so no issues there. But yeah, I think for Platoon Aviation, just making sure they have got a comfortable ley line. They don't want to give up any meters or any speed by having to kind of go a really high and slow mode to this mark, because I think those meters are going to be really what matters on this downwind. But to me, it looks like Platoon on a pretty comfortable ley line. Alpha Plus gone a little bit further to try and so they've gone a bit wider, bit faster entry, but really nice management of the last kind of quarter of that upwind by Platoon, who are just rounding now the windward mark in the lead.
Indeed, with Alpha Plus in second, probably Value have caught up a little bit and will be breathing down the necks of the team on the black boat. The Value round in third, Sled in fourth. Alpha Plus, of course, was originally the Luna Rossa, built as a Luna Rossa TP52, which is why it still carries the little red Prada stripe. American Magic head-to-head with Paprec, and just holding Paprec wide. They will take their time to settle into their tack. Paprec round in sixth, American Magic fifth. Alcedo are going to be round in seventh, I think. Still this scrap going on for places more towards the back of the fleet. Teasing machine backing just inside Allegra. Then Provezza, Criolla, and Gladiator, I think. So heading down the final run of the Porto Portals, the 52 Super Series Sailing Week. Platoon Aviation leading by 10 seconds from Alpha Plus. Value in third. Sled, who I think will finish second overall, in fourth. Few boats jibing off a little bit earlier down this run, Katie.
Yeah, I actually quite like what Sled have done there. They were fourth round, pretty close behind the top three actually, and they had a little bit of a gap back to the fifth boat, and I think they can afford to be a little bit attacking on this downwind. They've got that little buffer behind them to fifth place, although it is American Magic and they know that American Magic are quick. But I think, yeah, I like the fact that they've jibed off to kind of do something different to those top three boats to see if they can just make an extra place, get into that top three for this race. So I think that was a really bold but attacking move from them.
There's our projected points aggregates. If position stayed the same through the finish line, American Magic would win on 38 points. Sled on 50. Alpha Plus would make the podium for the first time in their history on 54 points, 5 points clear of Alcedo. Alcedo 2 points clear of Value. Platoon Aviation will end up midway up the fleet thanks to a pretty stellar final 3 races, 3-2-1, which considering where they were 24 hours ago, 36 hours ago, is a certain accomplishment. So Platoon Aviation still 30 or 40 metres clear of Alpha Plus, but Platoon Aviation slightly quicker, I think. Sled furthest to the left looking downwind. Looking fairly settled in these top 3 places. Not sure whether, don't think Sled will be able to get back from that left position. American Magic in the end recovering quite well.
No, but I definitely think it was...
Sorry, go on, Katie.
Yeah, no, I definitely think it was worth Sled trying to do something different, and especially with American Magic following them out there, the threat of fifth overtaking them at that point, if they're following on, is quite low. So I think Sled definitely had to try something. You saw after the jibe, Platoon and Alpha Plus having a little bit of a battle. They kind of matched jibes, Alpha Plus trying to get the roll on Platoon, but they didn't quite manage it. Both teams though having to go quite high for quite a while after that jibe. Platoon going high, really high, to defend their position on Alpha Plus, which is why we saw them travelling a bit faster. And Value again, really similar to the last race, kind of finding themselves just behind these 2 boats that are battling it out, and probably kind of sitting there hoping that those 2 boats just in front of them battling it out is going to maybe slightly open the door for Value to kind of gain a place or jump a place on one of those 2. But it looks like Alpha Plus has kind of decided, okay, we've lost this battle against Platoon, we've lost this little battle to roll them, so we're going to have to. We'll go back to normal VMG sailing. We'll wait for the next chance to attack, and then, yeah, we'll have to be patient on this one by the looks of it.
Indeed, I think that's the case. It's try and preserve the third step in the podium and just be conservative and consolidate and just stay with the platoon aviation, focus on them. Let's look at the platoon aviation lineup now. See a couple of changes on the lineup coming into this regatta. Harmuller Speer, owner driver, super talented helmsman in his own right, goes way back to the Dragons and dayboat, keelboat classes. Former Dragon World Champion and Gold Cup winner. Vasco Vascotto, 26 world titles, I think, something like that. 4 times winner of the 52 Super Series, and going way back to the Med Cup before that. Jordi Calafat, strategist. Juan Villa comes in as a navigator into the platoon aviation. His first regatta with platoon. Victor Mourinho on the runners. Dirk de Ridder and Ross Halcrow pretty much come as a package. Main trimmer and downwind and upwind trimmer. Ross Halcrow working with Javier de la Plaza. Gerd Habermuller, the big powerful Austrian grinder, working with Swede Andy Axelsson, the other grinder. Jaro Forlani in the pit. Mickey Muller on the mid-bow, and the new bowman Matteo Ramian at his first regatta in platoon aviation colours, and a little bit of a baptism of fire for him. Projected points just now. Vayu need to get another boat to get 4th, or Alcedo lose a place, but let's see. At the moment it looks looking good for Alpha Plus in particular, getting their first podium. I think Sled, looking at their 3rd podium from 4 regattas, is a good record for them, and American Magic winning 3 from 3, or 3 out of 3. Gladiator won in Saint-Tropez, and since then it's been American Magic. A bit close between Alpha Plus and Vayu just now. So we're on the ley line for the finish line, Katie, are we?
Yeah, they look to be on the ley line, unless the breeze kind of drops significantly or shifts. I reckon they're pretty much on ley, but yeah, as you say, pretty close between Alpha Plus, Vayu and Sled actually, and I think Vayu especially, I think, might get a bit affected by the breeze of the boats around them, so it could open the door for Sled to maybe come through and roll over the top of them, but we'll have to see how they kind of manage that situation.
For sure, I think in this situation with Alpha Plus, not many tacticians you would want better than Edo Stead in this situation. Just keeping up gentle motivation. So it will be, I think, a race win for Harmuller Speer's platoon aviation. We've had a little bit of a torrid regatta. We've said that a few times over the history of the 52 Super Series. Always better in the second half of the season, but looking unlikely at the moment that they'll finish on the circuit podium. They've always done that over the past 5 or 6 years. However, great shot, great lineup. Sled in our foreground, a beautifully impeccable, clean white boat of Mr. Takashi Akura will get 2nd overall. Vayu next forwards in 3rd in this race. Then Alpha Plus, and what is going to be the race winners this time, Platoon Aviation. American Magic will cross it in 5th, but they are already the regatta winners. So there have been some dark days, some dark races for Platoon Aviation this week at a venue they've been so successful in previous years. But this is a welcome morale boost, a reset for the self-confidence, and a nice win for Platoon Aviation. Vasco Vascotto thanking and just acknowledging the hard work of the team. Alpha Plus get through in 2nd to take their first ever podium overall in the 52 Super Series. Great congratulations to the team from Hong Kong, to Sean and Tina Kang, and Vayu come through for 3rd. Sled securing 2nd overall, as I said, their 3rd podium in a row. And a little bit of a gap back to American Magic. The fleet a little bit more spread out in this race, Katie, after the top 4.
Yeah, I think that second upwind, the top 4 really kind of got a bit of a jump on the rest of the fleet. I think if you're racing in a bunch or in the fleet in this stuff, in the slightly lighter breezes, it's easy for those gaps to appear, which makes it obviously more comfortable for the top 4, but for 5th boat or the boat at the front of a pack, it's trying to catch up with the previous ones and stay in front of the ones behind.
American Magic, Quantum Racing, Doug DeVos's team from the New York Yacht Club are the winners here in Porto Portals. Clear winners, a class apart. Terry Hutchison thanks to the team and the race management. Their 3rd regatta win in a row, all different kinds of conditions, different venues. Won in the breeze in Cascais, won the World Championship, the Rolex T50 World Championship last month, now winning in the sea breezes of the Bay of Palma. Sean Clarkson there at the back of the boat, one of the most experienced sailors on board. But a really, really strong team individually and together. Lucas Calabrese there in the main sheet trimmer, just shaking hands with
Brendan!
Victor Diaz de Leon. Alcedo Vitamina gets 7th and so just miss out on the podium. Podiumed in Bayona. Allegra then getting 8th. A disappointing finale for the team who led the regatta at the very beginning, coming out with a consecutive 2nd and 1st. Remember, seems like a lifetime ago, Casey, doesn't it?
Yeah, it really does.
When we started with 2 one-race days and everything was going Allegra's way, and then suddenly you get into 2 3-race days and the whole thing takes on a different perspective, a higher level of intensity. But you have to reflect that American Magic really have been a class apart this week and for much of the season. But many congratulations to the sled team as well. Really solid, dependable, safe. Mr. Akura's team, the 2021 World Champions and 52 Super Series Champions. Katie Sled, really a solid regatta. No mistakes, no flags, good starts, good speed. And any other day they would have been regatta winners, but American Magic just a step above them for the moment.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that is kind of almost like the trademark sled racing that we've come to kind of expect from them. As you say, no mistakes, super consistent. But yeah, this regatta, American Magic, especially yesterday, just managed to really find that extra gear. And those 2 race wins back to back really kind of solidified it for them.
There we go, and American Magic just tidying up. What a journey Sarah Stone's had this season, Katie. Starting off her career as a navigator, and really has grown into the role. Huge respect from her team, and particularly from Terry Hutchison.
Yeah, for sure. And even like just talking to her on the shore the other day, like she is the kind of person that kind of, she just kind of demands respect almost, not in a bad way, but just in like you feel why she is respected when you're talking to her. She's so knowledgeable. She's super calm. She's a really, really cool person. And actually, I'm really happy for her that this season's been so good, and winning the Worlds and 3 events back to back is a pretty good thing to have on your sailing to put on your sailing CV.
And a great role model and inspiration for girls and women for the future.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if I ended up sailing on one of these boats or on big boats, like she is absolutely the kind of person that I would really aspire to be like. She's super calm, super collected, super knowledgeable, and as I say, like everyone really respects her, and she's not got nothing to prove on this team because she's proving it. She's proven it, and it's really, really cool to see.
And she has green nail varnish in her toes, for anyone who needs to know.
That is an important detail.
It is an important detail, and it was funny to ask her today. She's really digital, no superstitions, no nothing, and just she's very much what you see is what you get. And from that perspective, kudos to the American Magic team for putting their faith in her. But I think that applies all the way through this team. A team with, again, a great blend of age and experience. From Greg Gundell there, just on the bow. He is the sailor who's won more TP52 world titles than any others. He's been the linchpin of this team at the front, even if he and Matt Cassidy refused to speak to us on the last day ever since last season. However, there's the final standings. American Magic winning on 38 points with 3 race wins over 10 races, and winning by 12 points ahead of Sled. Sled, a couple of 10th places they would prefer not to have. 2 race wins, but really super dependable, great score. American Magic lining up for their celebratory photos, team photos. They know what they're doing there. Let's hopefully go back. So as they're saying, yes, Sled get second on 50 points, Alpha Plus on 54, Alcedo Vitamina on 59, just missing out in the podium. Vayu 61, I would call them a work in progress. Platoon Aviation Mid-Fleet finishing with a 321 on 64, Allegra 66. I mean, considering they started with a first and a second, they're going to be disappointed with that. But again, a work in progress. Paul Goodison's first regatta with the team. Prevezza still a little bit underperforming for a team who have won here before and tied for the 23 circuit title. But again, maybe we'll see the best of them to come in Porto Cervo. Paprec a little bit disappointed, I think. A little bit inconsistent, and a couple of big scores there that they would really, again, like others, dearly like to finish without. Criolla coming in, having missed a couple of regattas, or a regatta. I think they're very much learning. Gladiator disappointing considering they were the team which won here last year, and then Teasing Machine making progress towards the end of the regatta, but a lot to learn for them. But I know the team having a great experience here on the 52 Super Series. So American Magic then clear winners, but a lot to be decided in Porto Cervo, Katie, isn't there? American Magic with a big lead, but so many things to be settled.
Yeah, for sure. Going in with a big lead is always nice, but I mean, there's 10 races with kind of 12, 13 points at stake, so actually those big leads can disappear in a day of racing. So it's very much still to play for. Different venue, different conditions, so yeah, we'll see what we get, and I'm expecting it to be pretty exciting.
It will be. When we at this time of year you can get a little bit of everything, but American Magic then, that is a 41 point lead to go to Porto Cervo with a potential 50 points over the course of the regatta. But American Magic then leading by 131 points versus 172 for Sled, 197 for Alcedo Vitamina in third. Paprec just 2.5 points behind in fourth. Platoon Aviation climbing the standings step by step, but it feels a little bit like the north face of Everest at the moment for them, but they're on 207 points. They are then certainly within reach of a third step of the podium if they can really come out all guns blazing and blitz Porto Cervo. Alpha Plus, good progress for them with that third place, 214.5 points. Value 221, Allegra 229, 245 for Preveza, Gladiator 274, 307 for Phoenix, 339 for Criolla, and Teasing Machine in 13th on 345 points. Just a point again saying that Phoenix will be back with us, we believe, in Porto Cervo. Thank you so much for joining us all the way through this regatta. It's been fantastic entertainment from the water. Katie, great work, great information, great humour, great everything on the water. Look forward to seeing you in Porto Cervo. Do join us then, and thank you so much. Goodbye from Porto Portals.
The world's leading monohull racing circuit is back in Puerto Portals in Mallorca. Teams are all set to do battle on the Bay of Palma.
Oh, it's a penalty.
The boats are fully powered up. The whole crew, they're in the back of the boat. I absolutely love it.
Who would have thought a big win for the Finns?
Oh, so close.
Great racing, sled catching American Magic.
They are neck and neck.
Everything is possible until you cross that finish line.
Fantastic racing.
What a thrilling race. Oh my God.